You might have seen close-up story on the von Kuhlenberg family last night. 6 children, that's right, 6, whose mother is unfit to look after them, being raised by their grandparents. Rather than put the kids into SIF's care, Roger and Teresa have looked after them for more than 5 years. But as close-up reporter Matt Chisholm explains, they'd be getting more financial help if they weren't family.
If the kids had stayed on SIF books or had gone on to live in foster homes, they would also be entitled to weekly pocket money of up to $14.20, birthday and Christmas allowances up to nearly $100, and a clothing allowance of more than $1,600 a year each, as well as help with school costs, sports fees and health assessments. That's at least an extra $12,500 a year this family is missing out on.
Well, joining me now is founder of the Grandparents Raising Grandchildren Trust, Diane Vivian. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How common is that story that we saw there? I mean, how many people are actually doing this?
Sadly, it is very, very common. We have nearly 5,000 members on our database. That equates to approximately 10,000 children. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, there's a lot of people that haven't heard about our organisation or don't realise that we exist. So it's very common. So
that's 10,000 or more children you feel aren't getting the support they deserve?
Correct, and it's not about money per se, it's about providing proper support for the children, proper food for the children, proper education for the children, and in cases where these children have been psychologically damaged or may have special needs, that incurs an extra cost too.
Have you talked to the state about this, I mean the government about this, about looking at ways to help grandparents who are raising kids more? Absolutely,
and indeed the Trust is putting in a submission for the Green Paper which addresses these issues, and we're working on that now and it's just about ready to go. We have done that in the past and it took us 9 years to get parity with the basic foster care rate, but it's the add-ons that make the difference. That's what puts the food on the table, that's what educates the children, that's what clothes the children.
I mean, there are many reasons why grandparents have to step in though, aren't there? There are all sorts of reasons. Does that make it a little bit more tricky?
It does make it tricky because a lot of these children have been traumatised. They may have seen violence, abuse, may have even seen murder of their own parent. The mother may have died through a terminal illness, so the grandparents have to step in. But you'd appreciate as they're older, they indeed find it very, very difficult to go out and find work. I mean, who's going to employ a 50, 60, 70-year-old person? So they may be on their pension, and all of a sudden into the mix may come 1 up to 10 grandchildren.
And are you quite convinced, I mean, do you have some evidence to suggest that children raised by their grandparents, rather than go into state care and foster care, will do better?
Absolutely. Jill Worrell did the research for the Trust back in 2009. Absolutely proves, without a doubt, children far better off with grandparent or family care. There is absolutely no doubt. The resilience is there.
The argument that seemed to be being put forward last night, I think, by Dr. Muriel Newman was that, well, in terms of the added payments, this is family, so therefore there's an obligation on the family to just perhaps to have to sort of suck that up in some ways and make those extra, you know, sacrifices.
Aren't they already doing that? Aren't they already doing it? You know, when they take these children in, they may be 4 or 5. They've got to raise them till they're 18 years of age. Aren't they already doing that?
Do you feel, you know, as well as state support, that the community, society recognises what the grandparents are doing enough? Or what you're doing?
Absolutely not. I don't believe they do. It was always a hidden underbelly of society, if you like, because there was a lot of shame attached to it, what my child did to the grandchildren. There's a lot of grief that runs through this. We've got grandparents who are grieving for what their children may have done to the grandchildren, what has happened to the grandchildren, and grief for themselves because they've lost their retirement.
Diane Vivian, thank you very much for highlighting this issue. Much appreciated.
Thank you.